sports world on Saturday announcing his retirement from the NFL at just 29 years old. Luck has been out this preseason with a mysterious lower leg injury that has most recently been called an ankle injury. But during the Colts' third preseason game with Andrew Luck on the sideline, news broke that the 29-year-old QB would be permanently stepping away from football, citing constant injuries as the reason for losing his joy for the game. Luck said, quote, "This is the hardest decision of my life, but it is the right decision for me." We're joined now by FS1 NFL analyst Antonio Cromartie. Good to have you with us.
Glad to be back.
Bro, thanks for coming in early this morning.
Definitely.
Especially because you were teammates with Andrew. I think it's interesting. We want to get your reaction to this. How surprised were you by the announcement and his decision to retire?
I was surprised, but then I wasn't. And the reason I say that is because when I played with him in 2016, you had a guy that was going through the shoulder injury the whole entire, even during the preseason. He was hurting during the preseason. I mean, he was going into practice where the only thing he did was individual drills. And the only thing he did was hand the ball off. He didn't throw the ball during practice. He didn't do any of that at all. So I could understand him. I mean, you got a guy that's been beat up his whole entire career. Last year was the first time he's ever had an offensive line. So now you look at it, now he's dealing with another injury. That plays with your mind. It brings, I mean, when you're not having, when you got to focus on injury more than you got to focus in on playing your next opponent, watching the film, understanding what you have to do, it takes your mind out of the game. You lose the joy of the game. And I think that's where he was. He just didn't have fun with it because he was dealing with so many injuries.
Right.
And that takes a toll on you mentally and physically. You know, and it's sad that the fans want to boo him because he's retired. He did it for himself and his family at the end of the day. And they need to understand that we're human. We're not just this mortal person like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Everybody
can't beat Tom.
And outlast everybody. But, you know, they need to understand this kid has a life to live. And he stopped on his time and not when things got really bad for him.
You look at it, the thing is, Skip, he really couldn't have a vacation. He could have no off season. His off season involved surgery and rehab. Well,
not every time, but
for like you said, the last 4 years. He's married now. I think he has a small child now. So when you factor all those things in, Skip, he's like, see, Tom, like, plays the Super Bowl, win, lose, or draw. He's healthy. He goes on vacation. He and Giselle and the family go here, go there, go there. It's a whole different ball game when you have shoulder surgery and you're going to be out the entire season. Or you have kidney and kidney lacerated, and you're going to miss your entire offseason is your rehab, and you don't get a break from it. And that's constant. So here he is again. He's like, is this Groundhog's Day? Is this deja vu? Because I'm right back again doing something that I've done everything right, Skip. He tried to, like, you know, I watch what I eat, and I train, and I do this and this and this, and then here we go again. And I believe, Skip, he knew he was not close to returning. And he said it, Skip, he said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what I did in 2016, where all I do is we were hearing now, is Crow is telling us he didn't practice. All he did was hand the ball off, individual drill. See, I want to do that. He says, the one thing I don't want to be is average. I commend it. Because a lot of people, now, it's a lot easier to walk away when they're not going to recoup any of the money, and you just got a $12 million roster bonus about a week, about 2 weeks ago, Skip. That makes it easier to walk away.
He has made a bunch of money.
Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson said, hold on, what? Detroit, that's the way you do it. You don't ask for the money back considering the service that I've given you. But, Skip, I think everybody was surprised. But when you really get down to it, Skip, some guys like, but I'll just keep doing it. Like Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis tore his ACL 3 straight times, Skip. He's like, I'm gonna keep going but everybody is wired differently. I can't say because one man did it this way, that's the way another man should do it. That's not how I am, Skip. Clearly, he said the thing that I took most, and he said a lot during his press conference, he said being injured and rehabbing robbed me of the joy to play this game. I didn't need to hear anything else.
So what's the moral to this story? You can't play quarterback in this league the way Andrew tried to play it his first 3 years.
No.
He was trying too hard to be great. And when he tried too hard with an average offensive line, he'd hold the ball and he'd hold the ball, and he would take shots that were just unholy shots. First 3 years. Then sometimes he would take off and run because he can move pretty well for a man that big, and he's a big man.
Right.
And when he took off running, what would he try to do? If somebody was in his way, he'd try to run them over. Linebackers, D tackles, whoever they were, he'd just run through them. And you just can't last in this league the way Tom Brady does unless you play the way Brady plays, which is it's gone, it's gone,
Get the ball out. Yep.
Right? Everything is timing, and the ball is gone because he is trying to avoid as much contact as possible.
Right.
And he's pretty good at avoiding contact. And it frustrates you because you're saying, yeah, I could play until I was 50 at quarterback if they protected me.
Yeah, nobody will hit me.
Okay? But he's taking advantage of the fact they can't hit him after the ball is out because once upon a time you could blast him pretty good. Right?
100% right.
Okay. All right. So Luck didn't get that the first 3 years. And why didn't he get that? Because he was a good kid who's trying to please everybody, including his coaches and his family and the media, who had already proclaimed him to be the next John Elway out of Stanford University. And he was replacing the legend, Peyton Manning. Man, it's hard. It's a lot of stuff that you're trying to live up to. And the truth is, in part because of injuries, he could never quite live up to his billing as the #1 overall pick. And I think that ate at him as much as the injury rehab ate at him, to the point what just happened the last time we saw him play, they were at Kansas City. It was a pretty big game to get to the AFC Championship game, and he was not very good in that game. He threw for 203 yards, threw a couple picks, had a QBR of 20, which is on a scale of 0 to 100, not very good. It wasn't one of his better games.
Right.
He fell to 4-4 in playoff games in that game. He's got 12 touchdowns in the postseason to 13 interceptions. So he doesn't have a lot to show for the billing that he had coming out of Stanford and after he went first overall.
Well, you got to think about this. The billing that he had was he was trying to replace who?
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Okay.
So now, once he started winning games and replacing them, what happened to the offensive line? They never secured anything for him until this past year. I think last year was one of his better years, just from a passing standpoint, where he was. Now, Kansas City, they just had something different for him. You can't put nothing about that.
They're not very good on defense, but he wasn't very good as quarterback.
But was Peyton Manning ever good in the playoffs?
Well, he got better once he.
I'm just asking the question.
He got Denver.
Was he better in the playoffs?
No, he wasn't great.
Oh, that's my point exactly.
Boy, he might be I've always made the case he was the greatest regular season quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Man, the numbers he put up were.
Yeah, and that was the thing is, Skip, it's only natural. The guy that you're replacing, maybe if it was 5 or 6 years removed, that's one thing. But he immediately came after Peyton. Peyton was a 4-time league MVP. He had gone to 2 Super Bowls. He had all these accolades. And then this is the reason why. The guy has a wing and a hospital named after him. That means not only was he a great football player, he was a great humanitarian.
Well, don't you think that house is the house that Peyton built?
Oh, they were gone a long time ago. Yeah, Lucas Oil is because of Peyton Manning. Yeah. There's a reason why his statue is outside, and rightfully so, Skip. But the expectations, and I feel that Ryan Grigson and Jim Irsay did him a disservice because they wanted him to be like Peyton. We're going to have Reggie Wayne. We're going to have Marvin and Dallas Clark and Edgerrin and Joseph Adai. We're going to have that. Well, you better protect. Your money is Andrew Luck. You better have guards to guard the vault as opposed to hiring cute tellers that's passing out money.
Especially if your quarterback is just holding on to the ball, trying to make the throw in the game, and he's getting rocked.
Well, Skip, you have to because you know your defense isn't very good. So the likelihood of you winning a 10-9 ball game with the defense that he had, he knows he's going to have to score. And sometimes you have to hold on to the ball because it's going to take guys a little longer to get open. Now, what I couldn't agree with is that you trying to run over linebackers. You trying to run over defensive tackles. Hey, you got to know when the journey's over. Going out of bounds, going to take, hey, it's okay to punt the ball. But you won't you will not, I don't care how big you are and how strong you are as a quarterback. You're not going to consistently take those licks down in and down out over 3-4 years.
First year, second in the NFL in turnovers. His third year, second in the NFL in turnovers. Over his first 5 years, he was third in the NFL in turnovers. You just can't win that way. So he became a turnover machine, holding on to the ball too long with an average to below average offense.
But last year when he had Quentin Nelson, and he had the first-round center, and he had the first-round left tackle, he put up 39 and 10, 39 and 12.
Those guys still there?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you look forward to playing behind those guys?
How can you?
Oh, okay.
Maybe in a year I'll look forward to that. Because right now I'm hurting too bad.
Brings me back to the mysterious injury that he fairly recently suffered that we still don't know what it was.
Right.
They said it was his calf, then it was some bone bruise, then it was high ankle, and something is wrong here. As Bruce Arians said yesterday, something is wrong someplace here. Maybe it was way worse than we have any idea of. Maybe it was career.
Well, you don't skip in the preseason. In the offseason, you don't have to be as open and honest with injuries as you would in the regular season.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to give a diagnosis.
That's true.
But he also knows, Skip, I believe the doctors have told him, you're still a couple of months away. If I'm a couple of months away, am I going to come back and Skip, am I going to really try and come back in November or December and try to lead this team? He's like, nah, I'm just going to step away and get my mind refreshed, get healthy, because he's not healthy. That was a broken man up there on Saturday night, Skip.
I watched the whole thing. You couldn't look away from hearing it and feeling his emotion. I just think of how challenging it was for him to get up in that moment after the news broke, the fans reacting that way. It was hard.
That's you,
hard
Skip.
in that sense. I hope that he is at peace with
Skip
this
Bayless
decision.
will not take a day off. You know why? Because he enjoyed what he's doing. Now, the moment he doesn't enjoy it anymore, man, we ain't going to even be able to drag Skip up out of bed. But don't worry about it.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to drag you out of bed. You're going to be doing this until you 80.
It was good to have your take on
jump
this,
out of bed.
Antonio.
I'm undefeated on Undisputed.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Dwight Howard is heading back to the Lakers. What could go wrong here? We'll go there
Nothing.
next.
Nothing could go wrong.